The management of information in our times today is what we make of it. Look, information cannot actually be, how do I call it? It's like energy, you can't trap it. People have little gadgets in their hands, they will share information. But intelligence is what you glean off information. So information is everywhere, in the pages of the papers, everywhere. That's why you need to involve as many specialists as possible, talking about the war room now. The war room is not only for generals. You could get medical doctors. You'd be surprised a medical doctor could actually give you information to find those girls.
Yeah, who they treated the last time.
Exactly. I just gave you information, which I used. Basically, what I gave you is special, but it's geographic. In those days when we were going out for a camping exercise, you will discover that most of the time, the first thing that is considered is the wind and low grounds for water. Okay, that too is information. Media men will also give you information. Psychologists will give you information. Experts on counter-terrorism. For crying out loud, we have a pastor sitting here, but he's already talking like somebody who should be in the war room. So does it matter if he is a pastor? No. Information can come from anywhere. So we have to open our minds. And when we open our minds, we're going to bring people in. Yes, you're going to get cold calls. People are going to do things for the sake of mischief. People are going to do things for propaganda reasons. You know, people are going to jump on the Boko Haram boss to drive political capital. But how well you manage that, how well you manage that is the litmus test for the security and law enforcement agencies.
How public should this kind of thing be? Because there's a certain dose of secrecy that has to play in solving this, and I see the smile on your face.
I like the word secrecy.
How? Because then it's not everything you bring to
Of
this is what we're doing, you know. How? Yes, and then the people involved needs to be protected. If we're going to have a war room,
yes.
How do we go about this?
I'm smiling because you are female, with all due respect. I say you are female because I know the word Christiana Amanpo strike a chord.
Okay.
She went into the most hallowed extremes of war rooms and even made it to the battlefield live. What's secrecy about that?
This new world requires openness.
Exactly. Our world requires openness. The more you know, the better you get. Look, we can keep all the secrets we want. It doesn't stop them from doing what they do.
Good.
Okay.
So it means that information has got to be out. But let me take that question to you as a final question. A lot of people have said the one area where the terrorists are winning is the management of information, because the more they strike, the more the media frenzy about their activity take place. But in terms of what our security agencies and our federal government is doing, we don't know. So that media space is completely taken over by the terrorists. In just a few sentences as we wrap up, can you just give us your thought?
Well, first of all, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if he wants this nation to exist in the next 2-3 years, must find the moral courage to do what has to be done for us to declare officially that Nigeria is in a state of war.
But he has said that several times.
Officially.
Officially.
Because your powers increase when you declare officially. Number two, he needs to build consensus across the entire community, bring everybody together. And the greatest strength we have against terrorism is the citizens of Nigeria. We need to prepare people realistically. We need to strengthen the minds of people. We need to let people know that look, challenging days are ahead, but there is no room for fear, because we will overcome at the end of the day. And finally, he needs to create a new organ completely. That we have allowed too many years for compromise in different low and high places. From the international perspective, it is obvious that Nigeria's security systems are riddled with moles. It is obvious also that the media is not being managed, and that's just about one of the pillars of about 6 that hold up terrorism, which Nigeria happens to be noticing. So if we create a new entity altogether, there needs to be a screening process for those who are going to be serving in that entity. They must be empowered to handle operations within the army, within the police, within the air force, within anywhere. Any person who is an enemy of the future of Nigeria must be isolated, must be exposed, and then also, like I pointed out to you, we must have that long-term solution. Engage the UN Track 3 diplomacy route, bring in the Nigerian flavor, and then we can talk about a future.
So in essence, you're recommending something similar to what America has done, Department for Homeland Security, is where everything, all of the agencies come together.
Something like that, Thomas, well, something like that. Something similar to that, but with an African flavor.
With an African or possibly Nigerian flavor.
Nigerian.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have enough time. We would love to talk a bit more about this. I want to say thank you very much, retired Captain Ali Umar, security expert.
You're welcome.
And also thanks to Reverend Laddie Thompson, who's a conflict resolution consultant. Thank you very much both for coming. So the options are there for the federal government, for our security agencies to think outside the box, to come up with solutions that will endure, and to let Nigerians be very, very more aware of what is happening, so that we're carried along, not dragged along or left behind. Sunrise will continue in just a moment. We'll come up with another